Okay, well, let's get going. It's a beautiful day again, great summer weather, and there's still activity out there for sure. A couple housekeeping things. You may have received a reminder that RICO insurance is due on Friday. That's your E&O insurance, $475, and you can pay it right through your RICO MyWeb. Okay, so make sure if you haven't already done it, please do so you can continue trading without any hiccups. Also, as of today, the last week we talked about all the different boards across Ontario. Well, 22 of them to be exact, and I sent that list out last week with the recording as well. And as of today, it is live. You'll have access to the 22 boards. And it's a different URL. So if you already are using one of the boards, those boards that you are on, the NLS, will be read only. So as of today, if you are a member of one of those boards, remember it's a different URL to log in. It's actually itsorealestate.ca. So that's itsorealestate.ca is the new address that you would go to, and then you would use the same credentials that you are using to log into your current board, and that's any board except Toronto, okay, because Toronto's not part of that group. Unfortunately, hopefully they'll start trying to make arrangements, but as of today, and it does give you full access for all 22 of those boards. And you can go in and you can set up exactly like you would be doing on your old system, set up automatic email campaigns, put in all your contacts, but now gives you an expanded area of what information you'll have, okay? And I highly recommend, if you are not on one of those boards, I sincerely suggest that you do become one, because especially now where I can tell you, just even today when I was signing trades in the office, we have agents in our company that I signed a trade for Barrie. I signed a trade that for someone sold something in Wasaga Beach. And on all of those areas are all in this new system. I now have clients asking me too, like, Scott, can you get me the information on here? We've decided that, we're going to be working from home. So we're looking at, moving away from the GTA. And if you could help us, that'd be great. So it's great to get the information. So again, take a look at last week's list. The email that I sent gives you all the different boards. If you need more information, just connect with me directly. But if you are a member, for instance, we have members that are member of the Mississauga, Oakville, Niagara, all of those, and Guelph, all of those are part of the new system as of today. Okay. One of the things we touched base on last week was, how can you help your clients in a situation where they want to buy a house, they have a limited down payment, but the places that they're looking at require work, or they want to do something to them that they need to improve them. And I touched base and mentioned if anybody, Purchase Plus Improvements Program. Anybody on the call here, anybody done a mortgage that way?
No.
Okay. So what it entails is, really the simplest way to put it is that when your clients apply for a mortgage during the conditional period, they would actually apply for a Purchase Plus, which means that they're going to get funds over and above the purchase price for doing improvements. Now, so that would be for a situation where, say they're looking at buying a place, and more so if you think about clients that are moving out of the GTA, they're moving out of the GTA because they want to work from home. Well, now they're going to they come across a place that needs a new kitchen, maybe you need to update the bathrooms, needs new windows. All of those items can be put into a Purchase Plus Improvements mortgage. Now, that's the pro side. The con side is During that finance period, it's going to take a little more longer for them to be qualified. So it means you're going to have a longer conditional period. And when you do the actual application, you need to submit quotes for the work that's being done. And they actually have a form that needs to be filled in. And then the appraisal also has to be done. And there's two appraisals. Appraisal in as-is condition, and then the appraiser, based on the list of improvements and quotes that you have, the appraiser then does a second appraisal based on the improvements being finished. And what the Genworth, who is the company that's sort of underwriting all this, what they look at then is saying, okay, we will give you, if you are buying it, you must buy it for your owner occupancy. But if you are buying it where it's one or even two units, so now imagine if one of your clients wants to buy a duplex and live in one side and rent out the other, it qualifies under this program as long as purchase price for any place they're buying is $1 million or less. They will not do this program over $1 million. But the way to look at it is, if it's owner occupied, now there's maybe a possible way you could sell them something that has 1, 2, 3, or 4 units this program qualifies for, as long as one of the units is owner occupied. So I'm thinking of situations outside the GTA, obviously, but if you've got clients that are all of a sudden saying, we have 5 or, for 1 or 2 units, you can do 5% down, up to 500,000, obviously, and then about 500 is you need the additional 10% on the amount over the 500. But for 3, if it's a 3 or 4 unit place, they will still do 90%. So they'll still, 10% down. So if you look at places, just because I'm more familiar with places in St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, areas like that where, so now if you have a buyer that's looking at buying something, even if it's a first-time buyer, you might be able to put them into a position where they can buy a property that has, separate, they have to be totally separate units though, okay? So, but where they could actually buy a possible, duplex and be able to do improvements to it through this program. So it is, it's not utilized a lot. One of the drawbacks is because the amount of time it takes to get it approved and the steps you have to take before you can submit the application. Okay, which, the main things are the quotes. So for instance, I have a good friend of mine who's one of my investors. The tenants in St. Catharines, 7 students, just moved out. Place needs to be updated and needs to be fixed. So I'm actually now going to get quotes to do all the work and put it in a position where I can now advertise it as being, or promote it as being, a purchase plus improvements program, because I'll be able to have the quotes ready. And then it's a matter, depending on, at which institution that the buyers want to go through. And as long as they understand the institution, it has to be insured through Genworth. But so if you have listings that do need work, keep in mind it has to sell for less than $1 million. But this may be a step that you may want to do, is get quotes in for such things. If it needs the new windows, needs new kitchen, needs new bathrooms. That way, there's another way of marketing it to a different group. Okay, because lots of times if you have buyers that only have 5 or 10% down, they don't have the extra money or a means of getting the extra money after the closing to be able to do the work. So if you're taking listings, or if you're working with a buyer, and that's the scenario, just make sure you can have a contractor up handy in the area that you're looking, who could quickly go in, do a detailed quote for you that you can submit. Okay, so there will be, they still have to be, obviously they still have to qualify. They have to have Beacon score. One of them has to have Beacon score at least 600 when it's 1 or 2 units, and 680 if it's 3 or 4 units. Okay, I will send out. I actually have the full Genworth, all the guidelines, so I will send that out as part of with this recording. One of the other things that keep in mind is because there's going to be multiple appraisals, then there's obviously going to be multiple fees. Okay, so there's extra costs there. Okay, so but it's definitely something something to look at. Also, in a quick market, or if there's multiple offers, really tough to do this program because you need the condition on financing, needs to be 7 to 10 business days. And obviously in a quick market or multiple offer situation, more than likely you're not going to get that scenario. Okay, but there are still homes that are out there that the sellers will give you that time, obviously, because if they can obtain their pricing, then it's another avenue for that. You may have buyers that can buy a place that may need some work versus where they wouldn't be able to do it in any other way. I'll just go through and scan this to see if there's anything. Okay. Qualifying terms amortization can't be any longer than a 25-year AM, which is pretty standard. And then you basically get into, the borrower's qualifications have to qualify as they normally would. And it's just a matter of also making sure that they've got, they will not, obviously if the qualifying is not there, then it's not going to work. Quotes are needed, and they have to be submitted with the application. But definitely something that I think is underutilized. And I really sort of got thinking about it, looking at the place in St. Catharines that I'm going to be listing. And I've had some of our realtors say, Scott, now that my clients are going to be working from home, they are looking outside of the GTA. And there are, the possibility of doing this in a marketplace where they'll give you the extra time to do the financing is probably stronger there than it is going to be in multiple offers in the GTA area. Okay. Any questions on this? You can unmute yourself, ask questions, or just on the bottom, there's a chat and you can just type in your questions there.
I assume this is for freehold only?
It actually doesn't say. It just said, it actually doesn't say. Existing resale properties, maximum 4 units where 1 unit must be owner occupied. So readily marketable residential dwellings located in markets with demonstrate ongoing resale demand. They basically, this is estimated remaining economic life of the property should be a minimum of 25 years. So obviously it can't be a shack falling down. And it says, in addition, for 3 and 4 units, the property must meet the following criteria: municipal zoning, and they must be full self-contained units. Does not mention anything about have to be freehold or a condominium supplier. I can certainly question out to them and find out, but it doesn't show a restriction here. And
sometimes you can find some shaggy units that first-time buyers would like, but they don't have the money to
exactly
to do the work on, right?
Yeah,
and they can get a deal from it in a way.
Well, and that's where I looked at as being underutilized, right? Because how many times have you go into certain areas and the price range that they want to buy at is still not getting them that house that's all done for them. And then there's many times I get the same thing. Well, I don't have that extra 30 or 40,000 to put into the place after the fact. And this program, it certainly can do that.
So Scott, would that be part of their income? Based on the income you get, you're able to borrow a certain amount. Will they consider the improvement amount as part of that original approval as well?
Yeah, so what they do with they look at their qualifying, and they will have to qualify obviously for the increased value. Okay, so they'll look at, okay, if you're buying today, then this is the amount that you qualify for, and you want say it's $30,000. They have to be able to qualify for that $30,000 increased mortgage. Okay, they won't give it to them unless they qualify for the higher amount. But if it's under $40,000, the improvements, they actually will give the improvements most of the time based on the closing date. Okay, once it starts going above that, in certain situations, the lending institutions will do what they call partial advancements. But that's very rare, and that's pretty major. So they would have to qualify for the purchase plus improvement mortgage total to be able to qualify for this, and understanding that the majority of the time they get the money right up front, so that they can, obviously lots of contractors want money up front before they start doing anything. So there is that situation, but to answer your question, they have to qualify for the highest mortgage amount that it's going to be, and it's based on 5%. If it qualifies for the under 500 for the 5%, it's based on the appraised value of the appraisal based on the improvements. Any other questions? Anybody see using this? Right? I think it's another avenue that, and in all fairness, in all the different promotions I've seen realtors doing, I haven't seen anybody promoting this. And I think it would attract, especially first-time buyers. You've got buyers out there that can qualify, but just have smaller down payments and don't have that extra money. So I did want to bring it to everybody's attention, and this information will be as part of the recording, and then it's something that you can investigate. It actually, for sure. Nancy, you may want to check, because Nancy just asked, one of her family, I think her daughter just bought a place for instance, in Simcoe area, and I may want to check, Nancy, because if she hasn't closed on it, she might be able to apply for it if she can submit what the improvements are going to be on a quote, and possibly, you may be able to go back to the lender and just see if they would look at this. But again, a couple points to keep in mind. If you've got a list of buyers who are not sure, they couldn't find anything because it needed work, reach out to them. Any listings that you're going to get, again, keeping in mind, have to be selling for under $1 million. If they need work, get the quotes ahead of time. Okay? Get the quotes ahead of time, have them available, almost put the package together, because I will tell you that agents that are going to be out there showing your listings may not be familiar with this program, and it might just help them steer them to your place versus them buying something else. Anything else? Any other questions?
I'm getting a listing at Danforth and Warden that would probably really fit, because it's definitely under $1 million. It's a little 2-bedroom house, and it could use some
Excellent.
updates. Okay. So that's a good idea. Thanks.
Yeah, and it's also something you could actually, in your broker remarks to the agents, you can say to them, this property qualifies for purchase plus improvements program. I guarantee you the agents are going to call you and go, what are you talking about? But, just have have everything ready. Yeah, and it doesn't matter how much down payment the buyers put, even if they put over 20%, still has to be insured by Genworth for this program. Okay. Anybody else getting any listings coming up? I am getting this one in St. Catharines. So if anybody has anybody, it's going to be going to need some work, but it's a big house in a nice part of St. Catharines on Burley Hill, and it's ironically enough, it's a 5-bedroom house. Now she was renting it to 7 students, but it's a 5-bedroom house, all bedrooms above grade. Plus it has a family room with a fireplace. Plus it has a den, all above grade. Yeah, 5-level side split, single car garage. On the street, when fixed up, the last 2 sales have been smaller house sold for $535, a similar size house, but a 2-car garage just sold for $570. We're going to probably sell this one as is for $480. We're going to put on at $489. So, and the things that you do as an agent to help your, help your properties get ready. I ordered a bin because the students left, and obviously they didn't take all their stuff or empty out the 2 fridges or left all the boxes that they originally moved in with, and crap everywhere. So yesterday I spent pretty well 4.5 hours, emptied the whole place and filled the bin. So the things you still do and need to do to, get it going, help your listers get prepared to sell. So I have pictures of it before and after, and I will tell you, I did not need to go to the gym yesterday. I had my workout yesterday, and loading that bin was enough. But so that one's going to be coming on, and I still have those new ones in Burl Oak, just on west side of Oakville. The one's almost totally finished, so that's going to be hitting. The finished one's going to be hitting MLS probably Monday once we get the photography and do all that. Okay, so just to recap, your RICO insurance, get it done before Friday. Okay. 2, if you're not a member of any of the other boards, and only a member of Toronto, have a look at it. It's about $1,000 extra a year, but as of today, you get access to the 22 different boards. So, and then with this recording, I'll send out the Purchase Plus Improvements program. And once you read through it, if you have any questions, get a hold of me. And then just a matter of keep busy out there, because I still see people out. There's still people looking, buying and selling. And do keep in mind that, your existing clients that are in the GTA, lots of them are looking at secondary properties. So make sure you keep in touch with them. Okay. Any other things before we close off? Anybody have any suggestions for topic next week? Okay. Well, in that case, then you guys enjoy this beautiful day, and we'll connect again next week, and look for this recording later today. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Scott.